It seems like every streaming service has a show about superheroes these days, from the mainstream to the obscure, and some of the best superhero TV embraces a departure from the heroic do-gooders of the big screen. A superhero series will usually present us with flawed but lovable characters just trying to do their best, or in some cases their worst. TV gives these characters more room to grow, so it's usually where we can explore backstories and personal trauma that shaped them into the caped crusaders they are. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 great superhero shows that give us tons of character development and interesting storytelling. 2 of these are shows you know and love, and one is a show you probably haven't seen, but that's definitely worth a watch. So let's get into it. We'll kick off with Amazon's The Boys, the winner of a recent Facebook poll where I asked people which superhero show had the best first season. Based on the graphic novel of the same name, The Boys is a total subversion of the superhero genre. It's like a twisted version of the Justice League or the Avengers. So instead of Aquaman, we get the Deep, who, aside from being an idiot, is also a sexual predator. We don't have Wonder Woman, we have Queen Maeve, who's a broken alcoholic who's basically just in too deep at this point to do anything actually heroic. And of course, instead of Superman or Captain America, we get Homelander, who is without a doubt more terrifying than any supervillain. Homelander presents us with a question that other superhero films or shows have tackled less successfully. What if Superman was evil? But what makes Homelander unique is that everyone still thinks he's a hero. And that's really the strength of The Boys. It's not as much about superheroes as it is about capitalism and corporate media manipulation. Yeah, Homelander is a terrifying villain, but the corporation that controls him and spins lies to protect his image is the real terrifying aspect. The whole giant evil corporation thing is extra interesting considering that the show comes from Amazon. If The Boys is an angry, cynical look at seemingly unstoppable corporate power, The Umbrella Academy is a more introspective look at personal trauma and family issues. The Boys is throwing up a middle finger to authority, and Umbrella Academy is listening to Morrissey in its room. The show, which is based on a comic created by Gerard Way from a little band you might have heard of called My Chemical Romance, is about 7 superpowered kids who are adopted by an eccentric billionaire with the express purpose of someday saving the world. But rather than focus on the superheroics, The Umbrella Academy is really a story about a fractured family and a bunch of adults who are still dealing with a very unconventional and painful childhood. Character growth is key, and we get to know the whole gang and start picking out favorites. Klaus and number 5 for me. The Umbrella Academy is beautifully shot with style to spare and an abundance of really creative musical montages. And then there's Doom Patrol. Look, you haven't seen this show. It aired on a smaller streaming service that mostly appealed to hardcore DC fans, and then it moved to HBO Max, which is stuffed with so much content that it got pretty buried. You open the HBO Max app and you're going to get bombarded with all the HBO flagships and every other hit in the Time Warner library before you get to Doom Patrol. And then you might see the cover with a robot and a goth girl and Timothy Dalton in a wheelchair and think, what in the X-Men knockoffs is this? But I'm telling you, take a chance on this show. Even though most people haven't watched it, Doom Patrol has arguably the most star power right out of the gate, with Matt Bomer, Brendan Fraser, and Alan Tudyk in the mix. But it also has some of the strongest storytelling with great characters, entertaining plots, and cool visuals. Best of all, it really leans into its weirdness.
I'm gonna get real weird with it.
This show is so bizarre that there's an early joke about how the remaining episodes are for the people who are still on board after the crazy shit they've witnessed so far. Like Umbrella Academy, which was originally inspired by the Doom Patrol comics, it's also about family, but it has a level of self-awareness that makes it such a fun watch. The first season even has some extremely funny fourth wall breaks that make it feel so different from what we might see in mainstream superhero shows. Even though it's probably the best comic book show you've never seen, and it's sad how underrated it is, maybe being on a more obscure streamer gave it more freedom to be batshit crazy. The Boys had to appeal to the same subscribers who watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The Umbrella Academy had to appeal to people who watch Stranger Things and to All the Boys I've Loved Before. But Doom Patrol just had to appeal to people who are already on board for weird comic book shit, which really let it do its own thing. I really love all 3 of these shows, but that first season of Doom Patrol was such a unique experience that it really made me fall in love with this aisle of misfit toys just trying to make it. So, Doom Patrol versus The Umbrella Academy versus The Boys. Who's the real winner? I'd say the real winner is us, the viewers, who get to watch all these great shows. But seriously, check out Doom Patrol. It's awesome. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.